One man with a gun can control 100 without one. I located this quote on several websites. I've chosen to reference historyanswers.co.uk as well as quotehd.com. Today I'll be talking to you all about gun control and the ramifications that it could bring to us in this country. Due to all of the mass shootings that have happened in America and across the globe over the past few years, I can fully understand and respect why many people favor gun control. I believe if the government issued a mandate today to turn in all weapons, many law-abiding citizens would do so. I'm not as convinced that the criminal element will follow suit. That means the bad guys and the government would be the only ones with firearms, and that's a slippery slope. As I researched this topic, I came across a blog called naturalnews.com. A video was posted approximately 7 months ago. The owner of the blog, Mike Adams, stated, and I quote, "Gun restriction laws are not actually gun restrictions on everyone. They are gun restrictions, but it's only for the private citizens. So that a gun concentration places a monopoly in the hands of the government. That is anti-democratic. One of the fundamental principles of a democracy is the distribution of power among the many, which creates a better society. Whereas a concentration of power distributed among the few, that leads to corruption. That leads to the exploitation of the people." End quote. There have been several instances in history which demonstrate that gun control usually precedes democide. Democide is the murder of any person or people by the government. Per an article written by David Koppel of the Washington Post titled "Mass Shootings in a Gun-Free Nations," dated November 17, 2017, University of Hawaii political science professor R.J. Rummel estimated the total number of innocent people that have been murdered by the government in the 20th century is 262 million. That's over 250 million people. So it's most intriguing to me that gun ownership is at its highest, the highest it's ever been in the state of Minnesota. Yet they remain at a 50-year low on violent crime. That's per the Project Republic Today website. Just prior to the Holocaust, Germany issued laws that no Jew could own a weapon. While I don't believe the Jewish population could have prevented the Holocaust, even if they hadn't had their guns taken away, I do believe that they could have reduced the number of people that were slaughtered. Whenever I think of democide, I usually tend to think about Germany and the Holocaust. For some reason, I don't consider the democides that have occurred in other nations. But I do think we should, especially since democide was preceded by the establishment of gun control in each instance. I located the following statistics on the Daily Herald website in an article titled "Gun Control and the Genocides That Followed." The post was updated January 28, 2013, indicating the information came from a YouTube link that is located within the article. See if you recognize a pattern. In 1929, Russia established gun control. Thereafter, 20 million dissidents were rounded up and exterminated. In 1935, China established gun control. This led to the extermination of 20 million political dissidents. In 1911, Turkey established gun control. Within 6 years, 1.5 million Christian Armenians had been rounded up and exterminated. In 1956, Cambodia established gun control. By 1977, 1 million educated people had been rounded up and exterminated. 1964, Guatemala established gun control. From 1981 to 1984, 100,000 Mayan Indians were rounded up and exterminated. In 1970, Uganda established gun control. By 1979, 300,000 Christians were what? Rounded up and exterminated. In conclusion, I want you to know I don't own a gun. I've never fired a gun. I don't have a desire to purchase a gun at this time. However, I do believe that the Second Amendment was put in place for a reason, possibly to protect the First Amendment. If I decide that I want to go and buy a gun, I believe it's my inalienable right to do so. If you were in favor of gun control prior to this speech, knowing what history has taught us, hopefully, has changed your mind. Thank you.